Hey guys, this is Ben back again, and now I'm gonna do the video as I promised during my last video, or close to the end, that which was of course when I announced that I'm gonna get rid of my VHS tapes and DVDs. I'm gonna get rid of them. I actually wrote out a list of the DVDs that I'm planning to get rid of, so just to keep that in mind. I'm not gonna show you the list though. I'm gonna show you when the time comes to officially getting rid of my VHS tapes and DVDs. I'm gonna show you the ones that are that are going away, the DVDs and the tapes that are going away. So you'll see when the time comes. But anyways, this video, since today's July 9th, 2019, today is a very special day here in the entertainment world, in the acting world as well, because today a famous actor, one of my favorite actors, is celebrating his 63rd birthday, which is really nice. So, and of course, for those of you who may know this actor, well, I will tell you, Toy Story fans and moviegoers out there, if you're watching, this is for you, because since today, since today's July 9th, 2019, the person that's celebrating his 63rd birthday today is none other than one of my all-time favorite actors, Tom Hanks. That's right, Tom Hanks is turning 63 years old today. So, without further ado, let's get started. Because as you know, Tom Hanks, he was born this day back on July 9th, 1956, and his real name is Thomas Jeffrey Hanks. And he began doing some, I can't remember where he was born, but I don't know if he started acting in stage or whatnot, because I don't know much, but in in the 1980s, I'm not gonna mention all of his movies though, but even though this is gonna be like a retrospective and I mention his movies, I'm not gonna mention all of his movies though. I can if I want, but I'm just gonna mention really briefly about the ones that he was really famous for. So, in 1984, that's when the big career for Hank started to climb up, because I don't know if it was his film debut or not, but that's when in 1984, he co-starred along with John Candy and Daryl Hannah in the movie Splash. Which Splash, I haven't seen Splash, but it was a big hit when it came out, so that's great. And other stuff. Then of course he did appear in a few other films around that time in the 80s as well, but such as The Money Pit, which that's one my mom likes, and same with The Burbs as well. But then in 1988, he would appear in another famous movie role in which he would play the title role, as the role of Josh in the 1988 movie Big, which of course, yep, like I said, he played the title role of Josh, and that film was also famous as well. Another big hit, very iconic and famous as well, especially the famous piano scene when he and the other guy is at the toy store on the walking piano. That scene gained a lot of recognition and fame, so that's great. So yep. And then, of course, I haven't seen all of Big, though. That's the only scene I have seen so far, but I'm gonna see more of it. But I have seen bits and pieces of it, though. But anyways, so yeah, Big was good. And then around, then around in the 90s or so, like in the early 90s, he did appear in a few other films, like The Bonfire of the Vanities, which came out in 1990. He did alongside Bruce Willis. So, yep. But anyways, in 1992, he did appear in another film, which he would co-star with Gina Davis and Madonna in the baseball film A League of Their Own. So that's good. So, yep. Of course, I haven't seen a lot of these films. I haven't seen. Most of them I have seen, but some of them I haven't seen, like A League of Their Own. So I'm gonna have to check them out. But that film was good as well, I would say. And then in 1993, he would appear in 2 films in 1 year. Of course, he would do this quite frequently. The first one, he would work with. I can't remember which one came first, but I'm gonna guess this one he would work with Meg Ryan in the film Sleepless in Seattle. So yep, that was good. Another famous one. And then also in the same year, this is when he would gain his first Oscar nomination. I don't know about Oscar nomination, but this was his first win, his first Oscar win for Best Actor, in which he would play Andrew Beckett in the movie Philadelphia, in which he would work with Denzel Washington, who is also one of my favorite actors, alongside Antonio Banderas, Mary Steenburgen, and a few others. Of course, that film, is about Tom Hanks's character. His character is suffering from HIV/AIDS. So yep, but that role, in my opinion, was his role. His role was good, and he also, in my opinion, deserves his win for Best Actor for 1993. I mean, it would be nice if Liam Neeson won for Schindler's List. That his role as Oscar Schindler was really groundbreaking and masterful. But Tom Hanks's win for this film for Best Actor in 1993, it's still great, still very deserving in my opinion. So yeah. But then a year later, in 1994, he would gain his second Oscar for Best Actor. This was back to back, because in 1994, he would play the title role in one of his most famous films to date, and probably the most iconic film to this date. Even though I know he'd been in a lot of ones, but this film, as you know, this is one that a lot of people talk about this back then and now to this day. Because as you know, Tom Hanks, he played the role as the title role on the film based on the Winston Groom novel, none other than known as Forrest Gump, which, like I said, he played the title role in that film. And of course, his Oscar win for that is pretty deserving as well, because of course, alongside, of course, that's when he co-starred along with Gary Sinise, as well as Sally Field, Robin Wright, and this is also his first collaboration with Gary Sinise, because there's two other ones which I'm going to talk later in a bit. But yeah, Forrest Gump was great in all this. Not going to mention too much about it because most of you have seen it. So yeah, Forrest Gump was great as well. Then a year later, 1995, he would appear again in two films back to back. The first one, he would play the role as Commander Jim Lovell in the film Apollo 13, which is good. He didn't get an Oscar nomination. I don't think he did, but still good. But then, so that film was good. And then later in the year, he would have a voice talent in a Disney film, which, as you know, this will be the very first Pixar film ever made, which, as you know, he would voice Sheriff Woody in the movie Toy Story. So, yep, this was another iconic film of his career, and another one of the best films overall. Of course, he would also reprise his role again, as Woody in Toy Story 2 and 3, and more recently, Toy Story 4. But, so yeah, that film was great as well. A lot of us know Toy Story very well. I don't remember what other films. I know in 1996 he did have a directorial debut in the film That Thing You Do, which he starred in as well and wrote the screenplay. But I don't know what he did in 1997. But I know in 1998 he again appeared in two films back to back. First was, well, I mean, I don't. First one, it was another famous film of his career, in which this film I actually watched on the day to remember D-Day. Of course, most of you guys probably know what I'm talking about here, because in the iconic film, one of his best films to date, as I'm about to mention the title, he played the role as Captain John Miller in the Steven Spielberg World War II film, none other than known as Saving Private Ryan, which, that film is great as well. Of course, I watched that on June 6th of this year, which was the day to remember D-Day, so that was great timing, and it was also the day to remember. No, not the day to remember. It was the day to remember D-Day, but it was also the day before my field trip to the Henry Ford Museum with the U.S. history class. So that's very great because I just wanted to get ready for it. But yeah, his role in that film is also great as well. Of course, he did alongside Matt Damon and Edward Burns, a few others. I'm gonna go kind of quick because I'm almost 10 minutes here, but yeah, Saving Private Ryan was great as well. And then also 1998, he would also work again with Meg Ryan in You've Got Mail. So yep. And then a year later, 1999, of course, besides Toy Story 2, he would play in a film, star in a film that's based on a Stephen King novel, which he would play the role of Paul Edgecombe in Death Row Corrections Officer Paul Edgecombe in the Stephen King film known as The Green Mile, which that film is also good as well. Yeah, that film, of course. Yeah, that film is also great as well. Working in a Stephen King movie, which is I don't think it's something he's ever done before, but it's great to see him in it. Alongside the late Michael Clark Duncan, and which he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, which he deserves. He didn't win, unfortunately, but he was nominated for it, which is great. And also, the other actors in the film also were great as well. So yeah, but yeah, The Green Mile was good. And then a year later in 2000, he would again work with Robert Zemeckis, who also did Forrest Gump. He would play again the title role in which he would play Chuck Nolan in the movie Castaway, which of course my brother was mentioning that pretty recently. But yeah, Castaway was also really great as well. Mostly, seeing him being in a place he's never been to, which he's all by himself on an island, which is pretty interesting, but great as well. But anyways, but Castaway, of course, we know he was nominated for Best Actor, but didn't win because Russell Crowe won for Gladiator. But anyways, then of course in 2002, he would take a break in 2001, and then 2002 he would appear in Road to Perdition, which is based on the graphic novel the same name. And then he would also, in 2004, he would play in 2 films. He would work again with Steven Spielberg in the movie The Terminal. And then he would also work again with Robert Zemeckis in the motion capture children's film known as The Polar Express. The Christmas children's film The Polar Express, that was also really great as well. It's another one of the best Christmas films around in my opinion, but I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me on that. But yeah, it's great but yeah, he played multiple roles in that film. The conductor, the hobo, Santa Claus, and a couple others. But yeah, The Polar Express was great in all this. Then in 2006, I don't know what he did in 2005, but I know in 2006 he would play the role of Robert Langdon in the film The Da Vinci Code, which is, unfortunately, it's not one of his best films of his career, but at least he tried, though. At least he still did a good job in it, in my opinion, because, he's Tom Hanks. But anyways, going on here, then, of course, he appeared in a few other films later in the late 2000s as well. Like Angels and Demons, which is the sequel to Da Vinci Code, and also Charlie Wilson's War and a couple other films that he did. Then in 2010, of course, he would reprise his role as Woody in Toy Story 3. And then I don't know what he did in 2011, but I know in 2012 he would do a film called Cloud Atlas. I never really heard. I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it's about. But then in 2013, he would again have 2 roles in which he would play the title role. He would play the title role in the film, again based on a true story. He would play the title role as Captain Phillips. Of course, that film is about, the Maersk, Alabama hijacking by Somali pirates back in 2009. So that film was great. That film was also great as well. And then, of course, and later in 2013, he would also play the role. He would work with Emma Thompson. And he would play Walt Disney in the movie Saving Mr. Banks. Of course, that film was about the making of Mary Poppins. How Disney acquired the rights to the novel, and then he would adapt it into film. And that's great. Then in 2015, he would also do Bridge of Spies, which he would work again with Steven Spielberg. And then of course in 2016 he would also appear in the movie, the title role appear in Sully, which is about, Captain Sullenberger back in 2009, how he landed the plane on the Hudson River. Which, that film, it's okay. My mom was disappointed by it, so that's unfortunate. And of course he's still appearing in movies as of today, more recently with Toy Story 4, which is great. But anyways, Tom Hanks is another one of the best actors living today, of course, and I hope he's having a good day so far, because, today's his birthday, so yeah, anyways, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be happy about this. I'm happy about it too, because today's his birthday, so anyways, so yep, that's basically it for my retrospective on Tom Hanks, and I will See you again soon. Who knows?